talking music, building businesses, and the grit in the journey. We're Skrizz and Adam, and welcome to The Rise.
And we are back. It is Skrizz and Adam on this lovely evening. As you can tell, the dark in the background with episode 18. Adam, how are you doing? What's going on? Where are you?
Well, still here in Hawaii, but as we were talking about before this, man, it's kind of sad. It's a little bittersweet because it's been about 2.5 months here in Hawaii, and unfortunately, I have about 1 week left. So I'm heading off the island soon.
This is the last week after how long in Hawaii?
I got here December 4th. We're almost at the end of February right now, so it's been about 3 months. So it's this is one of those places for me that's always tough to leave. So it'll be a little bit tough getting out of here, but I'm excited for the next stop.
Sidebar: do you think it's hard to leave, and you think you affiliated as like a home type of location because of your affiliation with family, your father living here, and your sister having constant presence here, or is it the environment, or is it a equation of both? And if so, which ways and which direction?
Yeah, definitely family, number one. You know, having my dad here, my new little brother here. Yes. So that's big. Both my sisters were here when I was here for at least a little bit. So that was nice. But also because I've been here on and off since 2019 now, I've been able to develop some good friends out here. So some of the other places I travel to, I don't know a single soul there. So it's a little bit different. But yeah, being here, it's definitely a little tougher because of family and friends. And I just freaking love this place. And it's a hard place not to love.
Not only is it paradise, but it's like a lot of very special memories with very special people have kind of grown out of the earth, you know, in this kind of paradise-like land. So Adam, you have some thoughts on this magnificent episode 18. Talk to me. What's on your mind?
Yeah. So, and that's actually a perfect segue into what we're going to talk about right here. So we're going to talk about that 4-letter word. It's Valentine's Day is passed by a little bit now, but it's still fresh in our minds. Yeah. So, we're both kind of in unique spots because I feel like we're all looking for love, of course. We all want to find that special someone in our life, right? And that's tough for anybody. But I feel like one of the things that I've always struggled with was during my days of my tech startup, now traveling, is balancing, finding love and the commitment to it versus the commitment to your craft. So I thought it'd be an interesting topic for us to kind of throw around is what we're all thinking about, what we're all, and I don't care what phase of the journey you're in, we're all thinking about love at some point. So I thought it'd be a fun thing for us to talk about here.
Yeah, I love that. And remember, I think before we get into specifics, I think you kind of saying right now, it's like, I think it's what makes our conversation so special is that it's like, I mean, obviously it's impossible to compare and create exact apple for apple parallels in our journeys, but like you and I, you've created a business and sold it, and then you're moving on to the next thing, and like we're always on the rise. Kanye West is on the rise, like we've talked about. But I feel like we're both on this level 2 or level 3 kind of part in our journey, and it's like when you talk about love, it's like when you're ready for a real, forever relationship, it's a matter of making those sacrifices. And I think it's, I think you could specifically even think about this where it's like you created your first company and sold your first company. And rather than maybe slowing down for love, you're probably actually speeding up and making less time for love. So it's an ever growing, complicated thing. I know I can speak on that. So I think that's kind of the tone of the conversation with, being an entrepreneur and ever chasing something. And I think you were saying earlier, like we all need love. I don't know the scientific fact, but I think I'm not talking about lust. I'm not talking about sex. I'm not any of that. But the dopamine rush of the experience of love is like more addictive than, I don't even know, maybe heroin. Who the fuck knows? I mean, but it's something we all can't live without. So, that being said, so here we are in February. I will tell my accounts. So what I always tell the younger generations or the kids I meet, what I always tell them is, well, I have one girlfriend you're accountable for when you can have 20 you're not accountable for. It's math, kids. Work smart, not hard. Not
like
true.
That. Make sure everyone's got their pen and paper out right now, taking notes.
One quote out of context and ruin my whole career. No, I'm just kidding, but not really. Yeah. So I'm going to do a little backstory. We haven't talked about this. It's probably something for another conversation, but I figured I'd drop this bombshell on this thing, and maybe we can do more episodes talking about this. But anyone who follows the Rise or knows me, about 18 months ago, well, I guess it'd be 19 months ago, I chose to go sober, and I went sober for an entire year. Did not touch a drink. It was a very good year. Then I decided after 1 year, I was going to try moderation. Anyone who knows me knows moderation is not my forte by any means, but it was worth a shot. And luckily, nothing terrible happened. And nothing really bad happened at all, but it just became really apparent to me that I just wasn't a guy of moderation. So fast forward, I entered the new year. I decided, okay, well, I don't want to, it was amazing that I could do a year without drinking, but it was very much like holding on for dear life. It wasn't a technique kind of driven abstinence of,
was it a tough year? Was it like,
it wasn't a tough year, but this is the analogy I use. Okay. And you'll probably hear me use it a lot. Adam, have you ever ridden a mechanical bull in your life?
I have not.
Okay. I figured you hadn't, but that's okay. I have a lot. So a mechanical bull works in two ways. There's the right way and the wrong way. You see like the big muscle head guys at the bar in Texas, like jump on the mechanical bull and they're jacked and they get thrown off in like 5 seconds. And the reason is they think they can use muscle. They think their quads, their butt, their arms are so strong and they are going to stay on the bull. And you realize it isn't a muscle game at all. You can see the skinniest, lightest guy on earth. It's a technique-driven thing. That's all it comes down to. The bull bucks forward, you lean back. The bull bucks this way, you go that way. It's just like you ride the wave. It's actually all about being very fluent and very loose. That's how you ride a mechanical bull.
Sounds like it's kind of like surfing. Like you don't want to fight the wave, you want to go with the wave.
That is exactly what it is. But people always think it's kind of a muscle thing where it's not. And I think my first, again, the year with no alcohol wasn't difficult in that sense, but it definitely was like, I don't want to get too into it, but it's like, it wasn't spiritual. It wasn't fluid. You know what I mean? So I have a lot of friends that are in AA and CA and NA, and I decided, well, if I want to do this, I want to do it right. So I started going to AA, I go to CA. I'm very involved. I guess it's more of an anonymous thing, but I will co-sign all that good stuff. And with that being said, I actually just learned this a couple weeks ago. I had to tell a girl I was talking to that this is the unspoken rule. But yeah, you can't be in a relationship for the first year of being in AA.
Why is
I didn't know that. What?
What's the reasoning behind it?
Actually,
Why is that?
It's really, really good. Again, like me wanting to be in AA isn't so much about alcohol as it is about self-improvement, which I think is really deeply rooted in our conversation in the Rise right now. Because it's like, you, Adam, like being hesitant to be in a relationship has nothing to do with you not wanting to give love. It has to do with you wanting to be your best self and be and it goes beyond business. So that's kind of the thing it's rooted in. It's in two things. It's like, one, if you're giving your time to someone else so much and giving so much dedication, and, you know, aside from going to bars and going to parties and going like this, even if they totally have your back, it's just, it puts yourself in a tough position. That's something I'm not concerned about, really. But the main thing is the number one thing that drives people to binge drinking or drug use or whatever is a breakup. You know what I mean? And most relationships don't last. That's just a fact. So it's just a preventative way of avoiding that and working on honing your skills. I mean, we can talk about this all more later, but I was at AA yesterday and there's people there for 27 years that are still showing up and still in tough positions. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The self-control is a discipline that you do have to take 1 hour at a time. So it's minimizing the things that are going to turn a spark into a forest fire. You
right.
know what I mean?
So are you able to date, just not be in a committed relationship, or no dating for a year?
No, you can do whatever the fuck you want. I can do whatever I want.
Right. Of course you can do whatever you want. Yeah, you're not. Yeah.
I have one girlfriend you're not committed to, and you can have 20. One girlfriend you're committed to, and you have 20 girlfriends you're not committed to.
So love,
yes,
though, we don't go on.
Doing works.
Yeah, so you can't, though, as we all know, it's like you can't force love. Like you can't fit a square peg into a round hole, and you also can't predict love necessarily. So you could go on a date tonight, you go to Buffalo Wild Wings, and all of a sudden,
looking just right.
Exactly, and you guys, and then all of a sudden you guys are in love. So yeah, that's obviously that's. I mean, I don't know if that's like a true story, but that sounds like exactly what would happen for you.
All my past relationships almost started that way. That's pretty realistic. Yeah.
So tell me about then, because how have you balanced saying, okay, I got to be in the studio, I got to write, I got to go travel here for this tour, versus like, hey, I want to spend time with this woman that I'm really into, I'm really interested in.
I'll just be transparent. Like, I'm a bad boyfriend. I was married. I'm a bad husband. Like, I'm just not like, I think I'm very like compassionate and giving and authentic. You know what I mean? I'm never going to lie, but it's like, I'm just physically not there. And then I'm mentally not there.
But
you know what I mean?
That is because, do you think part of that though is because you never found the right person for you? Because I've said the same stuff before. I've been in relationships in the past where I'm like, hey, I'm sorry, but I'm committed to my work. Like during the day, we're not going to talk. I'll call you when I get back home to say goodnight. We can hang out once during the weekend, but I need to be committed to my craft. And the real truth was just because that person we weren't the right people for each other. So I think I use that as an excuse more than like, hey, I really don't have the time. So do you think that's the case?
I mean, there's no, I think fundamentally, yes. Fundamentally, yes, I disagree in the sense, fundamentally, I agree in the sense that it's like, you're thriving in work. It's not even about work. It's about just being a better person. And I think it's the underlying thing of the rise, even though like we're in episode 18, not episode 2000, that's what's becoming clear to me. It's about like growing as a person. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So it's like, in order to grow as a person, the person that's complimenting you as your partner should be enhancing that experience, making that 3x, 4x, like 1 and 1 should equal 1,000. And that's really what I believe. In terms of like actual emotional support and compatibility, you're never gonna bat a million. It's not possible. It's like, yes, I'm gonna be in Minneapolis and you're having a shitty night and I can't help you. You know, that is what it is. But I think it is fair to say like, it is fair to say that you use that as an excuse and you say that, you know, circumstances are in the way of a relationship not really working towards your full optimization. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And talk to me a little, because, you know, Taylor Swift, she's kind of made a living off of breakups and heartbreak. And I feel like most music we listen to
for sure
has some type of heartbreak tied to it. So how do you balance that even with your songwriting? Because you almost need to have heartbreak for inspiration. No, like even a lot of your songs, I always find it interesting. Like you find different correlations that relate back to love just because it's so relatable. But even in terms of you being a singer songwriter, you kind of need heartbreak for inspiration.
Oh, I mean, you have to be fearless. You have to be shameless, I think, for lack of a better word. I mean, it is artistic expression, but it's just being shameless. And I mean, Taylor Swift is shameless as fuck. Like, I mean, the name of the game is, and that's kind of what it comes down to. I mean, I've said it to girlfriends. I'm like, it's awful to say, but it's like, you are second to this. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. So yeah, I mean, love is universal. I refuse to believe any human being doesn't have that dopamine rush or whatever the fuck it is that occupies our mind or we chase or whatever. And again, like we can take this conversation further. Love doesn't have to be boyfriend and girlfriend, husband and wife. I mean, you can love a child, you can love a friend, there's so much different types. It's just a gravity we have. You know what I mean? I love like dozens of women, and I truly feel like I do.
Sure.
But I think regarding the artist, it's just a thing. You have to be shameless, and you have to be a warrior for the sake of writing love songs. And if the inspiration strikes, you have to just understand that whoever the fuck you're gonna offend or whatever is the sacrifice for the greater good.
How much of that is real versus made up? What do you think? Like when even with yourself, like some of the love songs you've written, how many of it?
Everything's real. I believe everything's real.
You think Taylor Swift keeps getting these heartbreaks?
Yeah, everything's real. Definitely. Like the devil's in the details. I mean, what's that big Taylor Swift song, All Too Well? It's about Jake Gyllenhaal and like the sweater and scarf or whatever the fuck, like, and the kid in the glasses. I don't know if all that's real, but all I know is like any good song that really hits you, and at least maybe it's just for me, but it's definitely rooted in something fucking real. It has to be rooted in something real, or else it's bullshit, and no one likes that.
So I always think about like, for me, I need to rise and get to my best self in order to deserve my dream girl, quote unquote. Right. But I also think that when you the woman or man that you end up with, they should also make you better and inspire you to want to be your best self. So it's kind of that you need, I see both as I need to be better so that I can attract what I want, but then also I want to find someone who inspires me to be better. So, and I think that's what's so much tied into the rise, and not settling just because, hey, I'm lonely and I want a boyfriend or a girlfriend, a partner right now.
For sure. That's rookie move 101 of the rise. We don't settle for the sake of filling the void. But time out, I want to pause you for a sec. You saying you like, if something about it that threw me off. And again, I think I agree where you were like, I want to reach a certain level of, I don't say stature. Stature is the wrong word. I want to reach a certain notch in the rise in order to deserve. I don't know. The word deserve kind of throws me. Like I don't know. I don't. But I feel the same way. I mean, part of me deep down is like, maybe more the materialistic side of me or whatever. Like, we need to see X amount of progress so I can get a person of certain stature to, I don't know. I mean, I don't really feel that way.
The way I look at it is like in a different, and it's not even necessarily about like I need to have a certain amount of zeros in my bank account, but it's like, hey, if you're trying to be a professional athlete, or let's even just say, let's use music as an example, right? Sure. Like if you want to perform at MSG, you got to work on your craft. You got to have a hit song. You have to have a great band. You have to work on your vocals. You have to work on your stage presence, etc. Like you're not just coming out of, hey, I sang on my high school talent show and now I want to play at MSG. Like there's levels to it. And I think it's the same with like, if you want to attract a certain level of person, you have to be at that level too, whether you're male or female, it doesn't matter. But that's the way I look at it with myself is if I want to attract a certain type of woman, a certain quality woman, well, I better get my shit together. I better grow and improve myself if I want to deserve that.
I'm glad I asked. I think you clarified it perfectly where this isn't I'm taking stature or success from somewhere else to leverage it for success and love. No, you're talking about the sport of love and the sport of being your best self within the arena of love. Yes. It's like you want to be Cristiano Ronaldo, you gotta work like Cristiano Ronaldo.
Exactly. You want to, yeah. So that's the way I look at it more is like, hey, it's not even, I need to be the best at love. I just need to be the best me possible so that I can deserve, the great job, the great girl, the great, lifestyle, the great lifestyle, the great everything. But like, there's levels to it. And that's the way I see love too. And for me, I'm very picky about with who and where I spend my time.
I think, how old are you right now? You're 31?
31.
Okay, I think us both at 31 are definitely in the same thing. And that's the first thing I say to like anyone who enters my life. I'm just like straight up, like I'm just extremely picky about anyone using my time at all. I mean, at this point, even professionally, like I have a vetting system before you spend 30 seconds on the phone with me before you even get to that. You know what I mean? And that's just the way it should be with everything. I think time is the most valuable commodity life has to offer. No currency can ever come proportionate to it. So before you waste my fucking time, bring your A game, Even before,
and even for me too, like even before I waste my own time, like that's, it's the same shit. Like every day, like there's days I do something I'm like, what the hell, what did I do that for? That was a waste. I wasted my own time. And I was just on somebody else's podcast and that's what we were talking about. He's like, I'm 45 years old and I would clear my entire bank account to be 25 years old again. Because the most valuable currency we have is our time and you can't buy more of it. Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Gary Vee, anybody.
There's nothing they can do to come even close.
No, they would all give up their money to be 20 years younger, 30 years younger. Cause that's the one thing that's the one finite asset we have. And so anyway, going back to love though, like I want to get more specific even with you, if you don't mind. Yeah. So like, how do you vet might not be the right word, but it honestly probably is the right word. Like, how do you vet the dates you're going on? And what I mean by that is like, are you vetting based on like, hey, this person could be my future Mrs. Skrizz Adams? Do I vet them as like, hey, this is someone who I'm just going to have a good time with and have good company with? Do you vet it as like, hey, I'm going to learn something or grow from this person? Do you vet it as like, hey, this person is really attractive and I want to go outside my comfort zone to ask them out? Like, how do you vet who you're going to go out with?
I mean, like how things come to be. I mean, obviously my life is like bizarre and I'm in 8 million places at once. So how things come to be, that's a conversation for a different time, how you encounter and meet new people. But this kind of sounds like an asshole thing, but it's like my vetting process is I'm not very proactive at all. Sorry to anyone listening to this. But I'm not proactive at all. And it's like, I like to gauge my excitement once someone reaches out to me, and I want to gauge how quick I respond to that person. I'm almost testing myself as to how much I really care, because you can like map it out in your head on how much you actually really care and are enjoying whatever. But like, horrible analogy. This is my approach to songwriting as well. I think I've explained this as well. Like, you don't chase the song chases you. You know what I mean? Where it's like, leave the puppy on the side of the road. If it comes home, it's your puppy. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it's the same thing with like relationships, which I know this sounds awful, but it's like, if things are going to work themselves out and like get to those levels, like that is, and if you wake up in the morning, like you just got to follow, like, don't do shit for the sake of doing shit. I got enough shit on my to-do list. Like, shit is going to unfold as of May. It's probably not as specific as you wanted, but that's kind of my intuition, where it's like, I put it in the way, way back burner. It's the same thing with writing songs, man. I listened to this song in the car that's so different, and I wrote it like a year ago, and it's on one of these bad boys, and I'm just like, man, like, this is it. Like, this is totally it. And, you know, that's the way that I function. I would deal with the people in my lives. You know what I mean? Like, so, I'm not going to waste my energy. And it goes for friendships and everything too. I'm not going to chase my energy for something I'm just not excited about. And like, it is, you only live once, you know?
Yeah. You're lucky it's 2023 and the guys aren't the only ones that have to chase now. You know, if this was 1950 and you had to call and ask their father to take them on a date, bring roses. You'd be single and lonely forever.
Shit. Hear me out on this random fun fact while we're talking about love. And I dealt with it firsthand. Supposedly in Australia, it's the reverse. The girls chase the guys. And I had a girl reach out to me a while back asking me out on a date in Brisbane. And I was so like flattered by that. And I was like, yes. And then she got a boyfriend the next week. Or maybe she had a boyfriend the whole time. I don't really know.
I don't know if she had a boyfriend.
You hear me? Like, I'm still down for the date in Brisbane whenever the time comes. But I think they do it the reverse in Australia.
Yeah, so Australia is like Bumble, and America is like Tinder.
Yeah, I don't
and Europe is like Hinge. For anyone who's on dating apps, you know what I mean.
Okay, I don't know. Sorry, but yeah, I think that's my approach. Like, I think it goes back to the being picky or the like. I mean, there's two things I will say. It's like one, I don't like. Yes, I think I'm high value and I deserve to be picky and whatever. Like, you live once, why not fucking think that? You know what I mean? So because of that, I make the process very difficult. And then number two, I also, even with the AA and recovery and all that too, it's like I'm realizing like I'm not in a position to be a good boyfriend, so I'm not going to waste your time. You know what I mean? So it's like maybe I'm setting myself up to be totally alone, like on this podcast, we like track back. I don't know.
All right, cool. So let's do a quick rapid fire. Then we'll wrap this up because I have some good love related questions that I'm just coming up with on the spot, but I kind of like them right away. So rapid fire starting now. Would you go on The Bachelor? No. You
want explanation?
I'm just saying. Listen, I respect. I just feel like I know you'd be on it for the real reasons, but I feel like it might be good for the career too. But anyway,
the amount of we have a whole episode. I was guaranteed the winning spot on fucking American Idol twice. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not into that bullshit. Sorry.
Okay. I'm sure. No, you would not be on The Bachelor. Okay. What is your best advice to someone trying to find love?
Don't think. Just follow your gut.
Just follow your gut.
Just follow your excitement. Like, the spiritual meditative state. That's it. It's like songwriting. Your favorite love song that you've written, your personal favorite love song from Skrizz and Adams. I don't know if it's a love song, but New Dress. I think it's kind of a love song. Okay. One of your songs that was not written as a love song, but people think is a love song. Tipping Point, no question. Yeah. That's an easy one. That was mine. Yeah. Remember that was, and last rapid fire question. If you could go on a date with any celebrity, who would it be? Right now, I'm really into the idea of marrying Halsey. She's also from Jersey, so she sold like 8 billion records. So I feel like you guys should do you guys would have I feel like a great shoot. You guys would do well together. Yeah. You guys should get on a song together. Yeah, let's work on that, Halsey. If you hear me, song on a date, or just a song, or just a date. Either one.
Maybe we should get. I feel like we should get Halsey on the.
Yeah, she's only like the 15th best-selling artist on earth right now. She's fucking massive.
Well, after we get Kanye on the podcast,
but once we get Kanye, also Kanye's coming back to Adidas, so maybe something is happening. Maybe some. I don't know.
I think maybe they might have listened to our episode.
He's like, yo, you're right. The rise ain't over. I'm still going.
Yeah, he heard it. He heard it. He
just
knows.
Make it happen. Just get your shit together. Come on, let's do this.
All right, so I think that's enough love for one episode. But you know what? I have to give myself some credit. That rapid fire was
the best rapid fire you've ever done. If that was off the dome and not pre-written, I'm just taking your word.
No, that was not. I did not expect to do rapid fire until those rapid fire questions start popping into that little brain of mine. So kudos to me.
Good. Good for Adam. Okay, everyone, thank you so much. This is The Rise, episode 18. Tell your mother you love her today, okay?
That's the best advice. That advice is
tell your mom you love her.
Call your mother.
Every day.
You love her.
That's all you gotta do.
Every single day. All right, you heard it here first. I will see you later, my friend.
Peace, brother.